Hello, and welcome to episode 166 of the Pos-cast with Rabbi Shmuel Posner, myself, Seth Hellman. Rabbi, how are we doing today?
We are fine, Baruch Hashem, the 9th day of Tammuz. Now, the month of Tammuz has an Achiva Asr Tammuz, the 17th day of Tammuz, which will be next week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Thursday. Let me check that. The 17th of Tammuz is Thursday. It'll be a fast day. And then it starts at 3 weeks. Next week, Thursday?
Is it Thursday night?
Yeah, next week, Thursday. What?
Is it Thursday during the day? Like it's a day?
Yeah.
See, I'm at a wedding next week, and I guess the wedding must be on Wednesday then.
Thursday it starts.
Yeah, but it's like Thursday at sunrise until Thursday at sundown, yeah?
Thursday sunrise till sundown, yes.
Yeah, so the wedding's got to be on Wednesday then. There's no way it's on Thursday. That'd be crazy.
Not if they're Jewish.
Well, it should be. This is one of Sydney's many Orthodox cousins.
Oh, so then it'll be fine. Okay. So Shiva Asra Tammuz, so that the month of Tammuz is always associated with the beginning of the 3 weeks. It's for the 3 weeks when we mourn the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash. So the month of Tammuz has a negative twist to it. But then we have Yud Beis Tammuz when the previous Rebbe was freed from prison in 1927. So as we go further in time, earlier in the month, get it? So the 17th of Tammuz was a day of mourning since the times of the Beis Hamikdash, the destruction of Beis Hamikdash. And then when we come 2,000 years later, 2,500 years later, all of a sudden, before we get to the 17th of Tammuz, we have Yud Beis Tammuz, a day of liberation, a day of joy, a day of celebration. So it sort of gives another twist to the month, a positive twist to the month, which is good. We always look for positive twists, positive. And transformation of darkness to light. People are so worried what's going on in the world. You know, the elections, and these people are elected, and those people are elected. What's happening to America, what's happening to the world, what's happening to Israel, Iran, the whole thing. We get so caught up in the events, and I'm not saying it's not important, but, I'm not saying like, oh, it's okay, everything's wonderful, but like, you got to stay focused and recognize that there's a lot of positivity. Like, even this thing in New York, like all these lefties were elected, and then there's some article I saw, obviously on a Jewish website. It says, there was two Shomer Shabbos Orthodox Jews were elected to the New York State Assembly. But that no one's talking about that because that's not like, it's not a big deal. You want to shock everybody, like, this lefty and that lefty, and this one, terrible, it's horrible, but look, on the other side, there's good going on. Let's focus on the good. Let's focus on doing more good and bringing more good to the world. Anyways, that's the idea of Yud Beis Tammuz, transformation, which we have in the Parsha also. We have a double portion this week, Chukas-Balak.
I don't think he's going to notice. Oh, is he back?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm telling you, I'm sitting, I don't know why, but I try to sit still and it still happens. Okay, I'll sit like this.
Yeah, just don't touch anything, I guess.
It's hard for me to sit still and talk. Like
well,
this.
You don't have to sit still, just don't touch
anything. In school, you have to put your hands like this. Hold your hands on the desk like that. You see, like that, but not like this, because that's not good, making a cross. Like this. Put your hands on the table. I don't remember which teacher was. One of the teachers to sit like that if you weren't behaving or something.
And you weren't behaving a lot? You got in trouble a
lot? No. I got in trouble, but not a lot.
You got in trouble? What'd you get in trouble for?
Like regular stuff. I didn't really get not so much. I wasn't a bad student. I was a pretty good
Sure.
kid.
Sure.
I
This is
was.
I'm gonna have to speak to one of your brothers or something and pry some information out of them, because you're definitely sugarcoating.
I wasn't perfect. I just wasn't a bad kid. What do you want? Everybody has their things. So this week's parsha, this double portion, Chukas-Balak. Balak talks about him being afraid the Jews attacking his country. So he goes and he hires Bilam, which is incredible. Because Bilam says to Balak, I can only speak what Hashem wants me to speak. And then he goes, he wants to curse the Jews. Like, doesn't he know that Hashem loves the Jews? Doesn't he know what Hashem just did for the Jews? Took them out of Egypt, did the 10 plagues, split the Red Sea, gave them the Torah, and now wants to curse the Jews? That's like the essence of evil. It's like the worst evil there can be. Like an expression about Amalek. I know God and I want to rebel against him. It's terrible. It's horrible. And the world is like that too. The world knows who Hashem is. Everybody believes in God. Everyone knows the Jewish people are the Jewish people, that they're special. And for some reason, they have like this incredible, not all the people. Like I always tell you, on Newbury Street, so many times we have non-Jews walk by and they, no, I'm not Jewish, but I support you, I support Israel. One guy comes over like, and he's not Jewish, like, I'm so happy you guys are doing this. It's just so funny. Like, he's happy we're putting on film with people. Anyway, so the transformation. So Bilam, Vayafich Hashem is a kol bracha. Hashem transformed the curses of Bilam into blessings. So not that he just got rid of him, he transformed it. So Bilam, every time he opens his mouth, says something positive about the Jews, which makes Balak crazy. I hired you to curse them, not to talk good about them. Nonetheless, he keeps on going. He tries to find reasons or grounds to be able to have a basis, to be able to say something negative about the Jews. It never works. Because Hashem transforms the curses to blessing. So that's what we talk about. We look at things, we say we got to transform things, turn them upside down. Take the negative, make it positive. And then this thing was going around about talking to somebody. One of these guys was talking to I don't even know who the guy is. Some guy who was like a nasty anti-Semite. And so I didn't do anything here, I promise. And so he puts up this clip of Alan Dershowitz talking about Jesse Helms, who back in the day was not a friend of the Jews at all. He was a senator. And Chabad had an event, they have every year an event in Washington, honored the Rebbe's birthday, and they honored him. So he wrote a letter to the Rebbe and says, why would Chabad, Lubavitch, and essentially the Rebbe want to honor a person who's so against Israel? So the Rebbe said to him, basically, if you look online, you'll find the clip. The Rebbe said to him, you don't judge a person by what he's doing right now. You try to talk to the person and reason with them and see, and try to get along with them. And it ended up that after that time that he was honored at the event in Washington, the Chabad event in Washington, eventually after that he became very close to Israel and became a big supporter of Israel. In other words, the Rebbe was saying that someone that doesn't like you, it's not always the right way to go and to attack them. You try to get to them by having a dialogue with them, by showing them what you really stand for. As we know that most of the people that are anti-Israel have no idea what they're talking about. It's not informed, it's uninformed. So, and most of them, or a lot of them, are not interested in the information. So that's another problem. But if you can talk to them, if you have the opportunity to talk to them and explain to them what's really going on, that's a great thing to do. So there's no reason to just call them out and better to have dialogue. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Anyway, so that's the idea of transforming. So Bilam, the greatest blessings comes from Bilam. In fact, when the Rambam talks about Mashiach, he says it's a mitzvah to believe. It's essential to believe in the coming Mashiach. And then he says not only in the prophecy, if you don't believe in Mashiach, you're going against the prophets, you're going against the Torah that Moshe Rabbeinu gave to us. And he quotes the verses, the psukim, that Bilam says, that which predicts that there'll be a future in the star, the Arkayim Yaakov, the Yisrael. He talks about the verse that are hinting to or predicting the coming Mashiach. He quotes those psukim. So it's mamish in the Torah. Where? In the prophecy of Bilam. You think like, oh, maybe Moshe Rabbeinu will talk about it, which it is hinted to. But here, no. Comes from Bilam, from the darkest place comes the greatest light. The transformation of darkness to light, transformation of darkness to light. Okay, here. I'm going to tell you a couple of interesting things. You want to hear? Yes.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks ago, I was looking for some number on my phone, and up came Natan Krieger. Natan Krieger is from Brazil. His older brother is Rafi Krieger. And he graduated last year, I'm pretty sure. And I saw his name. So I sent him a message, hey, Natan, how's it going? He said, I just made Aliyah. He said, I made an Aliyah this week. Oh, that's interesting. Where is he living? He's in Ranana. Oh, I said, it's Friday, I think, Friday morning. I said, you have a place for Shabbos? He said, I have a place for lunch tomorrow, but I don't have a place for Friday night yet. So, remember that woman that was on, her and her husband?
Yeah.
Rachel.
Yeah.
So I sent her a message, because she doesn't live in Ranana now, but she used to live there. So I sent a message. I said, there's this BU alum that's in Ranana. He doesn't have a place to eat tonight. She said, okay. She gets back to me. I think I sent her his number, because what I have to be in the middle of this. And I got a message back from him or from her saying that he sent me a message. He said, thank you so much for connecting me to that woman. I told him I would do it. And I found somebody to be with. I found a place for tonight, but I'm going to maybe go visit her, go to her, be a guest at her house, maybe in a future week. And I thought that's so cool. So cool. I'm sitting in Boston, connecting Natan, who just made Aliyah, who went to Boston University, and now is from Brazil. He came to Boston University, and now he's in Israel. And Rachel, who was from West Virginia, came to BU 20 years ago, whatever it was. And boom, made that connection. I thought that's just so, I love that. I love the ability that the connection between one Jew connection and Chabad's connection, which reminds me that on July 28th, we're having a big thing in Manhattan, and get on it. BUChabad.org /40 years. 40 years. Check it out. Not you now. You're supposed to pay attention.
I was trying to pull it up so I could show people, but I forget which email I kept it in.
Producer. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Oh my God, he got cut out again. That's awesome. That's what he gets for making fun of me. Yeah, I'm not paying attention. I'm off doing something else. No, I'm making sure that we get the thing up.
BUChabad.org /40 years. You go there, you could register. And then, wait, stop there. Okay, continue. Alumni
What's
connection.
the parking situation like here?
RSVP here. When you RSVP and you go to the website, then it'll ask you also do a couple of things. They're trying to put together. Yisrael and Zelda are working on it. Oh yeah, you reserve a spot. You can give money, tribute and sponsorship. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in that. That people will find when they go there. But the thing is that they're also going to make a journal, pictures and stuff of people. And so I've been looking I went through some old pictures.
I want it to be known that the rabbi was having this issue on, was that last night? Was Torah class last night or on Monday? Torah class was
It
last night.
was
No,
on
Monday.
Monday night.
Yeah, you were having the same issue on Monday. Your video kept on cutting out, and
Yeah, I can't turn
now
the video on now. It's being
okay,
weird. So look at you, that's all.
fine.
Must be some wire that's.
Oh my goodness gracious! It happened again.
I'm back
Okay,
and better than ever.
you need to like leave it on the laptop or something, or like at least mute your laptop.
Mute it? What does mute it mean?
Like the audio on your laptop, so that it's not coming out of the speaker on your laptop as well.
Okay, off.
Great.
Oh, so we're gonna leave that picture of me up there? That's nice.
Well, I had put it up because I thought you were gonna jump back in and not have video, and then now you're
Oh,
back.
oh, man, you take that off.
Well, because it was, I don't know if I'm gonna leave that whole minute of like dead space. Though I guess your video is frozen for me now, so I hope that it's working properly. Can I kick
Oh,
the other you out? Let's see. Remove.
my video. Why would my video be? Hi.
Yes, now I can see you just fine.
Okay. So, what were we talking about? But totally.
You were talking
Oh,
about the BU 40th thing.
oh yeah, the BU 40th thing. Yeah. So I went through some pictures and found like amazing stuff from. We're talking about 40 years and pretty crazy stuff going way, way back when people were much younger. Okay, so that's that. Anyway, oh, the connection because Rachel connected with Natan for Shabbos. That was amazing. Okay, now we go. Here we go. The Newbury Street report. So we were in Newbury Street on Sunday, obviously, and this guy walks by. I was in today. This week. Yakir, the Israeli, was with me, not Natan. So we come. This Israeli guy walks by. He starts talking to him, and the guy's like, yeah. Nah, I'm not going to put on tefillin. He's like a youngish guy, probably in his mid-20s or something. And then I see he gets into a car. Like usually Israelis they're like tourists or something. He gets into a car and I look at walk. He was like 10 feet away from where we were standing. So I look at the car and I see that it's a small car and there's Massachusetts plate on it. I'm thinking like, 1 second, this guy's not a tourist. But also, how do we have a car? It wasn't like a rental car. So I said to Yakir, go over and talk to him, and talk to him, see maybe he lives near in Boston. See what's going on. He said, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Okay, say fine. So I go over and knock on the window. He opens it up, and I say like who are you? Oh. Yeah, I said, who are you? What are you doing? What are you doing here? He said, oh, I work for like this, I think it was Bnei Akiva or something. I don't know which one it was. It was some Israeli group, and he's been here for a whole year, and he's doing programs for kids, for adults, this and that. And he said, and I'm going back to Israel in 2 days. I said, but you don't want to put on film? I said, I don't want to put on film. So just in that split second, I thought like, so what am I going to do with this guy? Like, I'm not going to argue with him. He obviously doesn't. We asked him before. I'm asking now. I'm knocking on his window. He's very friendly. So I pulled out $1 from my pocket. I said, here, I want you to give it to tzedakah when you get to Israel. He said, oh, okay, I'll do that. He's very nice about that, and he took the $1. Okay, that was the end of it. So then I was talking to Yakir, so I said, I was like, it's a little surprising. He's here to promote Judaism in Israel, and he wouldn't put on film, like, whatever. So we didn't make a big deal out of it. People are people, do what they want to do. But a half an hour, 20 minutes, a half an hour later, he comes walking from the other direction, and he says, I want to put on tefillin. And Yakir went nuts. Like, he said to me later, so I can't believe it. The most amazing thing. And he said, because he was talking to him and helping him put on tefillin. And he knew it. Like we have the card that has the first paragraph of Shema. I said, where's the rest of it? So I pull up my phone. He was like standing for 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes davening. And Yakir was like, I can't believe it, like, that he actually came back and not only that, he drove away and Newbury Street, you can't find parking, he came and he had to find parking just to come back to put on film. And I thought it was like such an amazing thing, as well as Yakir did. Like he was like flipping out completely. Oh, I can't believe it. And just the idea that we had a story like this 30 years ago. We had the sukkah out in front of the house. And so one of our kids was standing and asking people, if they're Jewish, to come into the sukkah. Probably, I don't remember which one it was, but he's like 6, 7, 8 years old. And some guy came by and he said, come, yeah, I know Chabad, I don't want to come to the sukkah. An hour later, he comes back, he said, I couldn't live with myself thinking, here's this little kid standing outside, asked me to come to the sukkah. I said no. I had to come back and come into the sukkah. So when this guy came back to put on film, I thought about that story again. That you ask somebody, and it's a simple thing. You're not asking him like something he doesn't know what it's about. He knows how long it takes. He knows it's a mitzvah. He knows it's a good thing. And maybe I don't know. I didn't ask the guy why he came back. But maybe it's like I just reached out to him and here, take $1 and do a mitzvah. Like there was no controversy whatsoever. There was no arguing. Like why not? You should. You have to. He knew what it was. And he didn't want to. So I think that in some ways, when you're trying to convince somebody to do a mitzvah and they're not into it, to make sure, and I try to do this so much when I'm out there, to make sure that the interaction ends on a positive way. There's not like I want you, you don't want to, and he walks away with a bad thing in his mouth. So this takes us to Shabbos afternoon. So after lunch, went upstairs. I learned little, probably like 10 minutes, and then fell asleep. And I woke up a couple.
Sounds about right.
I think I woke up a couple of times like, I'm not getting up. I'm exhausted. So I probably slept like, I don't know, it could have been 2 or 3 hours. Because the whole week I'm up at 5 o'clock and whatever. I don't have to explain why I'm sleeping Shabbos afternoon. And then I hear, because we have an iPad for the cameras, and it's on. And when the doorbell rings, you can hear it through the iPad. So I hear the doorbell ringing. I'm like, oh man, it's 6:30. I didn't even know what time it was. But who could it be? Who's ringing the doorbell? It's probably like some delivery person who wants to let them put the package outside. And it rang once, rang twice, and I said, okay, fine, I'll go see who it is. I look out, so I get up and I look at the camera, and I see it's 2 guys. It's not a delivery person. So I go running down the stairs. And by this time, they're down by the sidewalk. So I open the door and it says, hi guys, what's up? It's 2 Israeli guys, Itamar and Ilan. Okay, so they come up the stairs, like, what's going on? And he says that they're counselors somewhere up north. So I figured, they told me to name it, like half an hour out of Boston. And this is normal that the Jewish agency in Israel sends Israelis to be counselors in the camp, like share Israeli culture and whatever thing. And so somehow I asked him if he puts on tefillin. Itamar said he does. Ilan said he doesn't. And why don't you put on tefillin? He said, I don't believe. And then I said to him, you want to know what it means to believe in God? Why don't you talk to one of the captives, the hostages that was sitting in a tunnel under Gaza who started to believe in God? And I didn't say it in an aggressive way, just said, it's funny. Then we started talking about this. I said, maybe you guys want to come inside? He said, yeah. So they came inside, they sat down, and it was 6:30. We talked like 8 o'clock. For an hour and a half we were talking. And they were complaining because the camp is reform, and it was very confusing because these guys, they came to Boston to take a haircut, and they were like, they wanted to keep Shabbos halachically, but they were upset that like that Friday night they did kiddush, but they didn't sing Eshes Chayil. Like, okay, so like, but they were really, both of them were really nice. They're really good guys. But the guy said he puts on tefillin. They was all upset that and the food's not kosher. They had chicken. They said it's kosher. It wasn't kosher chicken, but they said chicken is. It was like a very confusing thing. And like one of them was, I want to tell them this. I said, if you're going to tell them what they're doing is wrong, they're going to throw you out. They're going to get rid of you because they have a camp and they want to teach the kids what they believe, not what you believe. If you want to do it, you got to do it calmly, just gently. Share information with the kids. Talk to them. Don't make a big protest. Don't make yourself. If you're loud and you're obstructing what's going on, they're just going to get rid of you. So we had this. And then we're talking about mass revelation. Why do he believes that thing? Then about Har Sinai, that God appeared before all the Jews. And then we talked about, why do you believe in God? You believe in God because how else does the world exist, not God? And they weren't convinced. Elam wasn't convinced. And then he says to me, I was on birthright. I said, with who? He said, with my notes. I said, oh. And the rabbi told me the same thing. I said, what was the rabbi's name? Rabbi Mendy.
I mean, drop a bunch of names in a hat and pick one out randomly. The odds of it being Mendy have got to be 75%, right? Like, geez.
I said, like, so I don't. I knew there's a Rabbi Mendy in Syracuse. I said it's from.
There's a Rabbi Mendy in Boston too.
Right. Well, I know. Well, it was on a birthright trip. I know Mendy doesn't do the birthright trips. So I know. So, and he said the rabbi told me exactly the same thing. And so I was thinking about it later. And so so we ended off in a very positive way. He said, keep in touch, blah blah blah, and send me, if you know who the rabbi is, send me his name. So he sent me a picture of the rabbi, and it's the rabbi from Syracuse. And so I emailed him. He sent me an email. So I sent it to the rabbi in Syracuse. Obviously, he didn't remember who the guy was because, I don't know, the trip could have been 5 years ago, and it was Israeli soldiers. They're on the bus for 5 days. Like, why would he put any energy to remember it? But anyway, so I was thinking a lot about, like, what this guy needs is not to somebody to try to convince him that God exists and the Torah is from Hashem. What he needs is somebody should invite him to a Shabbos table. Somebody should, and I said to him, so when you are on the birthright trip, do you put on tefillin? He said, yeah, every time they ask me, I put on tefillin. I said, so you believe? He said, no, it's part of the event. In other words, he has nothing against it. It's just that intellectually he can't wrap his mind around the belief in God. And then I thought about it and said, my approach wasn't the right approach. Don't try to convince him that he believes in God. Every Jew essentially believes in Hashem. So all you have to do is reveal the emunah that the Jew has. And it's not that you're not going to talk intellectually about him. When he becomes comfortable with it, like when we were talking about this, why do Jews live in Israel? Why do you live in Israel? If you don't believe in God, why in heaven's name, why in a God's name are you in Israel? Go move somewhere else. How can if you're a secular Israeli, I don't believe in God, but this is our country. Why is it your country? Go take some other country. There's no God, there's no anything. Then, take there's a lot of Jews living in Los Angeles, in Boston, any other city where they're not killing you. What do you have to stay there for? Whether it's your land, goes 3,000 years, your ancestors lived there, therefore you have to die over it. It's crazy. So the point is that deep down, every Jew does believe. Every Jew is a believer. And even said to them, I don't know if it's popular, it used to be popular, the song. The words of the song mean, we are believers, the children of believers, and we have nobody to rely on except on Hashem. And I remember on a birthright trip 12 years ago, standing around a campfire, hands on shoulders with a bunch of Israeli soldiers and the participants in the trip, and we're singing this song. I'm thinking to myself, do these guys know what they're singing with such a lively song? The words are, I believe, we're believers. And if it was something totally again, yes, every Jew believes in Hashem. We just have to figure out a way for them to connect to that belief. How do you do it? By doing mitzvahs. And then I was watching. I remember watching Rebbe, videos from the Rebbe that start doing mitzvahs and the emunah will come. What do you mean the emunah will come? I'll become a believer? No. The belief that you essentially have will become expressed in you. And that's that's the right approach to do it. So when you're out there and you're putting on tefillin with somebody, which we had a guy on Sunday also, never put on tefillin in his life, whatever, he has a whole twisted life story, but that's not important. But the bottom line is, he put on tefillin, or then there was a 15-year-old kid that came by, he put on tefillin also for the first time. His mother's Jewish, his father's not. There's a connection there that I'm doing a mitzvah. When I explain it to people, this is a mitzvah, it says in the Torah, you read the Shema, you see it's in the Shema. Automatically you connect to it because essentially you have a Jewish soul. And this brings me last week I went to the oil for Gimel Tammuz, and so this guy comes over to me, and he's got his beard, he's wearing a kapata, black hat. He says, 12 years ago, at the Pegisha Farbrengen, you said to me, you asked me if I have put on, so I said, I don't appear, it's filling. So and his shliach is in Florida, Chaim Baruch Lipsker. So I said to him, if your rabbi will buy you a pair of tefillin, will you wear them every day? And I said yes. And I turned to you turned to my rabbi. I said, okay, we got to get him a pair of tefillin tomorrow. He said, since then, I've worn tefillin every day. And he went to yeshiva and the whole 9 yards, and now he's like a full-blown chassid. He told me he's a musician, does concerts. I don't remember his name, though. Anyway.
A surprise to nobody. That's even less surprising than you falling asleep on Shabbos. Crazy.
So that was really, that was a good thing. I don't know if you saw, but in the email that I sent last week, so I came back. So, I drove down last Wednesday to go to the oil. I was there Wednesday afternoon, evening. Then I came back to Crown Heights, stayed overnight, davened, and came back to Boston. And, Gimel Tammuz is a heavy day. It's a lot of things to think about. And, everybody can understand that. And I'm in the car alone, so I'm doing a lot of thinking. And I'm coming back to Boston, meeting people in 770. Wednesday night I met a couple of alumni, and then Shachos I davened at a minyan 7 o'clock afterwards. We're sitting out talking with a couple of guys. It was nothing, just like being with Chassidim and talking about different things. And then I'm driving back, and as I'm on Stero Drive, about to get off, 3 minutes away from the house, and the car in front of me, 77000 TB. That was a license plate number. And I start taking pictures. Finally, I pull up close enough, and I'm trying to drive, and he stops. I took a picture. And when I saw the license plate, I literally laughed out loud. Because I said, Hashem is mamish giving me a sign. You're worried about this, worried about that. Don't worry about it. The Rebbe's with you. Things will be okay. Go, you're back in Boston. Do your best you can. Make sure to bring Mashiach. And that was, to me, that was like, I've posted a lot of times these 770 license plate, but this time it was like, I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't looking for anything. I was just in my, in my own little space. And then boom, I saw it. I said, thank you, Hashem. Okay, that's it. Mashiach now. Let's just do more good and more good. Hashem will help.
Amen. With that, thank you so much for listening to episode 166 of the Pos-cast for Rabbi Shmuel Posner. We will see you next week.